the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. All together now, let's begin. Let the show begin.
Can I ask first, is this the first time that both of you are on stage at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
It's our Virgin panel.
Exactly, and I thought it would be interesting to pair the two of you together, you know, and just kind of make it
a business mind and also the
a product.
product
Yes.
and mind.
So
Yeah.
okay, so here's the experiment. I hope it doesn't flop.
Sure.
All right. So firstly, I think during the Q2 2024 financial report, James basically, I think we have a screenshot of him. Like James basically delivered the report through his AI agent, right? And it was pretty impressive. And I guess the message is loud and clear about how Trip is going to use AI tech, right? So I'm going to first start on the commercial side. All right. And Chai, since the launch of TripGenie, what kind of traction, conversions have you seen? And is it bringing incremental revenues or is it shifting?
Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about TripGenie for the last 2 years. Every time I see Siew, and I will talk about TripGenie, and I always show it on my phone, right? So I think the good thing is that we are seeing great numbers. For example, we are seeing that people who use TripGenie versus people who don't use TripGenie on our app, we are seeing double the conversion. And also we're seeing longer engagement time, right? Basically, people who use TripGenie, they spend about, on an average, 20 minutes more on our app, whether it's looking at itinerary or doing bookings. I think that's another thing that we saw. Overall, I think over the last couple of years when we launched TripGenie, we've already over 1 million inquiries on TripGenie itself. So again, we are getting great traction in terms of the usage of it. And we are seeing that for the members that we have, our Trip.com members who are using the app, there's higher percentage of them coming back to use the TripGenie app, for 30 to 40% higher chances of them using it.
Or conversion or just using it?
The
retention and conversion. I think we see like multiple of the metrics we improve a lot.
Yes.
All right.
So I think, of course, thanks to Amy for driving the improvements. We are always continually optimizing the app and the TripGenie tool so that we can actually tailor to our customers' preferences and personalities.
Right. Okay. So 20 minutes more on the app, right?
Yes.
Is that because maybe TripGenie is not answering that question so well? Anyway, I'm gonna go to Amy now. And what lessons have you learned? You know, because it is first use case. So what lessons have you learned since the launch of TripGenie about human behavior?
Yeah, I think it's one of the lessons learned that nowadays there's so many bots, like starting from the hit of the ChatGPT and later on the bot, the Gemini, a lot of other bots. So we started to learn that the purpose-built bots like TripGenie, we focus very much on the travel-related area. So we actually tailor-made for users their request and their asking and providing the solid solution. Like, maybe people are asking about open-ended question, like inspiration, where to go for a good museum in London or in New York. But in TripGenie, people are asking, how can I find the hotels that meet my needs? Like I'm in a business travel in Singapore.
So more specific questions.
Yes, and it requires some sort of solution. Just like I come to Singapore, I want a hotel like close to metro, and I'm do exercise during my visit here. So I want an indoor swimming pool or indoor gym. And this kind of like complex ask, we were providing some sort of the list in the chat, and also a link they can continue the booking journey. So we try to combine the powerful of the large language model in the chatting interface and also integrate with our actionable. People are able to, okay, I'm already got the answer, and now I go to next step. It's more specifically built to solve the problem, rather than, okay, it's only chatting.
Right, and clearly you're happy with that, right? Because then it gives them, like, you know, a call to action intent.
Exactly. I mean, when we first launched Genie, there wasn't a link to the transaction page, right? But now it's really seamless. And going to your point, why are they spending 20 minutes more? Clearly because people are more engaged, right? If they're not engaged, they would have just turn it off and go somewhere else.
Absolutely. Okay, so now let's pan out to the big picture, and we have a slide on the Trip.com group and how big you are, which is 160 billion GMV and 6 billion revenues. And Chai, I mean, Jerry, can I have that slide, please? So, okay, Chai, what percentage of revenues now is international? Because most people still see you as a China-dominant company. So what percentage?
Yeah, so the thing is this, right? If you look at our international business, it's already growing at about 70% year on year. right? I mean, definitely we are still predominantly, if you look at our revenue, predominantly domestic mainland China, but our growth internationally is really spurring the growth of our Trip.com group's revenue itself. And when I talk to our hotel partners, right, I can tell them there are certain markets, certain destinations around Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia, where our business from Trip.com brand is actually higher than the business coming from Ctrip, depending on certain destinations itself. So,
Right.
and I think Siew, you attended our global summit in May this year, and I was telling our hotel partners, our partners are seeing a double boost from our Ctrip outbound business as well as our growing international business.
So is it 30% international?
Depends on products, depends on product lines, but generally we are seeing, again, much higher growth for our international revenue.
Okay.
And we are also expanding our product lines, right? If you look at how we are growing in mainland China, we are also doing the same internationally. We do accommodation, we do transportation, including flights, car rentals, transportation, airport transfers, we do cruises. So we are going to transportation, especially in Europe, we are going to trains. For some of our European friends here, if you go to Europe now, you can actually go on Trip.com and you can actually book train, Eurostar from Paris to London.
So you're building out the whole,
Exactly.
like all the OTAs, trying to build up the whole connected journey, except that maybe in Ctrip, you've actually been doing it at home for a while, right?
We've been doing that for years. Yes.
So now I'm going to go to an audience poll and get the audience involved in this. And what do you think is Trip's superpower, right? Is it because they're just huge at home? Is it their work ethic? Or is it their tech prowess? All right, and all right, so I want to go to Amy, right? As Trip builds out into the international markets, and I know you've been, you build out rail in Europe.
Yes.
Can you take the Ctrip playbook and just kind of transplant it into the overseas markets? Like, what adjustments do you have to make? All right, so the answer is loud and clear. You're winning because your whole market is big.
Okay.
Definitely, I think that
Your work ethic is zero, man.
work ethics, you heard of 996, right? Basically, we work 996. So is that work ethics or not? Right?
Yeah, I think the playbook we are winning in China home market is a lot of things we are able to learn when we go global. Just like previously, I was in charge of the international train business, so we are super flexible and in the way try to innovate how the way we are engaged people are book chain with us. Like the split chain we introduced in the UK market is one of the examples how we are being flexible, trying to innovate in a way. And this is a very common practice in China. We find a new way to do the things that to fulfill users' unmet needs. But on the other hand, with the global vision, we still need to have the local focus because we also understand there's nuance between user demands. As I think in this week we discussed with Chai, some of the user behaviors varies from country to country. Like in Japanese, we noticed that users, they are super interesting in reading the breakfast photos because there are a lot of the package, they are going to like the hot spring, the stay there. It will have the meats including. So they try to understand what kind of food I'm going to enjoy if I book this hotel. But compared to other cities or other countries, they might not have this kind of specific needs. So it comes back to the playbook. First, we sort of have the standardized global playbook, but when it comes to each specific market, we still need to like tune it a bit, trying to meet those local needs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a podcast where Jane Sun was speaking about Trip's formula, and it's basically 5-5-4-4-3 formula. Okay, 5 is top level where the number 2, where the number 2 without 5 to 10 years cannot catch up on. So top. 4 is kind of above market level, but barrier to entry is low. And then 3 is you are competing at the market level. So that's your formula, okay. So brand and service is 5. Tech and products is 4, and pricing is 3. So Amy, let's address tech that's placed at 4. All right, so it's not 5, but it's at 4. Mm-hmm. And you have said that this is the golden age of product innovation because of AI. But how do you ensure you stay above market level, but the barrier to entry is really, really low right now?
Excellent question.
Do you sleep?
Of course.
Are you a robot?
Yeah, I think the 4 stands for like if 5 should top in the market. So let's say OpenAI or Google, they are position themselves as 5. And the 4 is that we are very advanced in our industry. So the entry level is low? Sure, because everyone can build an AI bot at this moment, just like the running, everyone can start. But if you want to become a top performer, like if you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon, it requires serious effort. So this is also our direction. We try to be very specific and dedicated in the travel industry. We try to respond to users, their real needs, rather than only the chatting. We try to solve their problems, like the flight booking, hotel booking, or if they have like post-booking questions, they want to change their flight. And previously, you need to contact customer service agent, but now we try to integrate, use large language model to integrate their knowledge base and try to provide a more instant and more accurate response to make the service more accessible for more users.
Okay, so when you say serious effort in tech, how many people do you have in your team that's working on TripGenie or across your tech product? 1,800?
It's a secret.
Is it 1,800?
No. We never like doing that kind of scale. Like Google, they have like maybe 100,000 people. For Trip.com, we never go to that scale, but we do have a serious like workforce in that part, and they are working very hard. It's no matter of how many people will be working on that, but how hard.
It's work ethic, you see. All right, okay. Chai, brand is at 5 and service is at 5. So it seems to me like Trip has a pretty unique formula for customer acquisition. You keep people within your ecosystem and you keep customers within the circle. Now, so you worked with Expedia before, right? And actually you spoke more slowly, I think, when you were working with Expedia. So how does a Chinese company like Trip view customer acquisition differently from Western OTAs?
Yeah, I'll start off with the part about the travel community, right? So the way we look at our travel community is we create a travel community within our app itself. And this is really learning from the Ctrip app in mainland China. Any users that we acquire internationally, if you go to our Trip.com app now, 80% of it is actually user-generated contents, right? It's a very much more centric towards user generation, helping users share their information, helping users come onto the site to learn about what preferences they have, to share about how to go from point A to point B, right? And share photos and videos. And that's the trend that the Gen Zs are going through. If I poll our audience here, how many of you use TikTok? How many of you use Instagram? This is basically how we're engaging it. So I think in terms of customer acquisition, we create a travel community moving from transactional platform to what we call a transactional plus content generating platform.
Right. So it seems to me that actually you are creating your own sales force.
Yeah, we have to.
It's like a virtual sales
and that's because cost of acquisition of customer is really expensive. I mean, we have Google here, right? So you ask them how much it costs to bid on Google, you know the cost is really high. So we have to create our own travel community.
Right.
I think that's one. The other one is I think we really pride ourselves in building direct customers. So for example, right, we have a very strong Trip Plus program where we have tiered discounts for our Trip Plus members. And at the same time, we just launched a new Diamond Plus program for our Trip.com members where we give free access to airport lounge, as well as free eSIM card. It's actually just launched this month. You hear more about it, but basically we're launching higher tiers to really attract our return loyal customers. And I think for most of you who are flying into Singapore or flying out of Singapore, you see us doing trolleys in Singapore airport. You see the air bridges in Bangkok. We're going to do it in Fukuoka. We're going to do it in KL. So we are very targeted to bring customers onto our app directly.
Right. How do you afford to give away all these free services? Who's paying for them?
It's a combination of our partners, our customers, and ourselves.
All right. Okay. So as a product manager now, I mean, it's become seriously difficult, because now you got all these different verticals, right? And then now you also got a content layer within the trip that you've got to put into this small screen, right? So how do you fit all that, and who wins? Is it the one who shouts the loudest at you? Is it the one that optimizes the best, or is it what the customer wants? How do you decide?
Yeah, I think it's just like a family. Everyone try to fight for the attention of parents, right? Same in the big family, we have like multiple product lines. So I think the very important principle is that the user's demand comes the first. We need to put user first. So first, we need to prioritize what user actually they need, and then we try to integrate what the business demands there. Like we have some kind of standardized, like offering for the global, but when it comes to different markets, we try to tune in a bit what is this market, the specific needs. So when come to the conflict cases, we will see, okay, first there's some kind of intuition of the product manager. But the very important second part is that we need to use the data. User will tell us which is their preferred. So this is somehow we try to combine the understanding of user as a product manager perspective, and also we use the data coming from user, trying to combine that what is the best value for user and combine with the business efforts.
Right. So how do you feel about being put second?
For me, it's always customer number one. Definitely. And that's the motto of our organization. It's always customer number one, partner number two, actually our own employees number three. It's a very, very clear strategy and philosophy across the organization.
All right. So now we go to service, right, which was number 5. I mean, service has been kept at 5, and basically you guarantee this. Within 30 seconds, answered by a live person. If there's an issue with booking, solved within 2 minutes.
Yep.
If unexpected event, customer will be contacted within 2 minutes. How can this get any better? Do you see a time when it gets to 0 live person?
We have to continuously innovate. For example, I think,
What's your fail rate, actually?
For example, our self-service rate for our flights and hotels is about 70 to 80%, depending on the product itself. But for more complex situations, human intervention is still critical. So, for example, when we had a sort of earthquake in Japan, in Fukuoka this year, we actually had to do intervention through our crisis management center. I think that's something that we supplement with the technology itself. So going back to say, can it get better? I think we need to continuously leverage technology. When I say technology, it means all the different communications channel, from email to chatbot to even IP phones,
Voice.
Voice, through automated voice recognition, through technology itself. So we're leveraging all different forms of it. And the other thing we're trying to do is we're trying to build, close the gap between our partners and our customers. Because we are an intermediary, right? So how do we make sure that from the partner's point of view and customer point of view, how do you close the gap using technology and making the communication seamless pre, post, and during the journey itself? I think that's something that will continue improving.
So how does your team get involved in the customer service? And I think your idea was like, we say, we're talking about agentic AI, everybody will have their own agent. So if the vision is for TripGenie to become everyone's AI agent, right? Is that the vision?
I think we try to make it a versatile assistant, the travel assistant for anybody who uses Trip.com. So if we talking about specific about customer service, compared to like generic type of the boards like ChatGPT or Gemini, a lot of people asking about the post-service questions or like pre-booking questions. So that's why we need to integrate our internal database, no matter customer service database or the hotel knowledge base. For example, people might asking, can I take my dog if I stay in this hotel? Do they have a parking slot? It's a very specific questions, and we need to provide them the answer in order to help them to make the decision if they want to book with us. So this is the combination with large language models, but you still need to get the real answer from internal. Previous might be need to respond by the live customer service agents, but now with the new technology, we are providing this kind of instant response and high quality. So with this kind of technology, that we try to make our service more easily and accessible to our users and our agents. They're able to dedicate their time in those very challenging cases, like there's earthquake or tsunami, and ultimately elevate the overall customer service quality.
All right, so make a choice either or, right? AI, best use of AI right now. Is it customer service or is it efficiency in the workplace?
Customer service.
Customer service, okay.
Yeah.
Amy, tell us what is the most exciting thing happening in China now in AI that we outside China do not know about? What's coming?
The most important thing, I think, is that everything runs so fast in China because, the Chinese language barrier, maybe the Western world, their English-speaking people have no idea. Like the long text, the competition starting from China, and also when the Sora from OpenAI released, but I think it's Killing from China, they actually make it available for everyone. So a lot of things, some innovation starting from China, and some other things, the China's counterpart, they make it available in a very fast pace, similar as what we do in TripGenie. We launched TripGenie like 2.5 months after the launch of ChatGPT. It's one of the most fast one to introduce that kind of technology on our app. So this is the thing.
So given that fast pace and the acceleration, and already outside China, we are quite overwhelmed by the speed of things, right? So within China, it's even faster, I'm told.
Yeah.
So Chai, are you as a commercial person, are you looking for the next disruption? Like what else could come, right? I mean, you've got competitors.
Right.
I mean, even though you're a giant.
I mean, we just saw Elon Musk, SkyX, right? They are able to capture the booster back in Earth, right? Who could have thought about that? So I think the thing is, we can never imagine what's going to happen. For me, right, if I'm going to hope that something's going to happen, is next time when I travel, I don't need any transportation. I just need to press the button and I can get from Singapore to Shanghai, like this. Maybe it can happen. I don't know.
All right.
I mean, I think the other thing, I mean, as a foreigner going to Shanghai very often, right? One of the things I'm truly amazed about is I never need to actually carry a wallet anymore. I'm in Singapore, I carry a wallet, but when I'm in Shanghai, I keep my wallet in the safe. I don't take any cash. Everything is done through mobile. Everything is done through QR code. I think that's how amazing it is. You actually do not need to carry any physical stuff other than your phone. But I think if you lose your phone, I think you're in trouble.
Okay, so just now during the payments panel, we had a really interesting session, I thought, And so we're seeing travel companies going into fintech, of course, right? But now we're actually seeing fintech companies, you've seen Ant, for example, coming into travel. So what are your thoughts on that, the blending of the two industries?
I think it's just like the matter of how to fulfill users' demand from the different perspective. I think for the travel is very long chain. Starting from inspiration, dreaming for my next trip, and then I made the reservation, and then I'm on the road. And the payment is one of the steps people will encounter there. But from the payment perspective, they are not only paid for their like hotel booking, flight booking, they pay for their food delivery, for their car haulings. So it just matters where you are able to provide the content users they need. The payment company, they provide the assets of the hotel properties and the search result for the flight, and then people trying to convert there. Or for the low frequency type of products like travel, people may starting from the inspiration of getting inspired. Like they consume the content and then they convert. And
so this question just came to my head, just popped into my head, right, Chai? As the commercial person, do you see a time when I'm sure you are working on some Trip wallet, right? But do you see a time when you have a Trip wallet and I, as a customer, basically say, okay, I'm going to put $5,000 into my Trip wallet, right? And then I'm going to basically keep it, and then you're going to basically use that money and then sell me stuff or give me subscription points or give me some discounts or rewards. Do you see a time? You're already doing it.
We already have a marketing wallet for our hotel partners. So we actually have a wallet there where they can use to pay for traffic, they can use to do for promotions, they can use to give to
But that's your hoteliers.
A wallet within our app.
Yeah.
So within our EBK itself, we actually have that. So I think we can translate the same to our customers. So we already have that kind of idea. So it's a one-stop shop. Basically, the wallet itself can be used for all types of product and tools in our systems itself.
So OTAs become a bank, basically.
Yes,
that
exactly.
I give you your money and you play with it and earn interest.
And I mean, we have hoteliers here, right? Sometimes you cannot give direct discounts. So what you have to do is you probably have to say, right, let's do a rebate or do some kind of discounts through other forms, and then we actually rebate you, or we pay the hotel, or the hotel pay us separately itself.
Okay, I'm getting carried away. Rapid fire, one last question, quick answer. Chai, if you could download one new skill instantly so that you remain relevant in the years to come, what would it be and why?
Agility and adaptability, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years.
All right, okay. And Amy, if you could collaborate with any future technology that doesn't exist yet, what would it be?
mind reading.
Like
every good product. Every good product starts from truly understand users' demands. So somehow you just imagine people go to a restaurant and they browse the menu and say, whatever, anything is fine. It doesn't mean they don't have any preference. They just have the difficulty to impress themselves. So as a product, if we have a way to understand users, their demand, even they are not able to speak it out, so it's more than 50%, we have the chance to meet users' demands.
All right. Okay. Mind reader, Amy Wei. And
Agility and
agile and nimble Chai. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, they're ready now. Let the show begin. Next generation for the win.